All right, welcome to the latest edition of Ragic Office Hour. And let's get started by doing a recap on Ragic's latest features. And today we're going to introduce the Google Looker Studio integration. Yeah, this is called the Google Looker Studio. And if you go to the Looker Studio website, and you will be able to create this kind of reports based on your data on the data that you have on Ragic. So this is a quick report that I created before the office hour session, and it's actually pretty easy. So I'm going to quickly show you how this is created. So whenever you're creating a new report, and you should create a new data source like Ragic. So how you create a new data source is to go to the add data. If you're at an empty report, you can always add data by clicking on the add data here. And when you add data, just search for Ragic, and Ragic will appear in the partner connectors. So you can just choose Ragic and enter your API key and the URL to the form that you would like to import into Google Looker Studio. So it will become part of the data source that you can choose from. So before the office hour session, I have already created the data source Ragic using the office hour question sheet. So all the fields on the office hour question sheet will appear here, and you will be able to drag and drop them into an existing chart widget, or create a new chart widget from these fields that you already have. So these are basically created from your Ragic data. So any sheet on Ragic can be a data source on Google Looker Studio, and you will be able to create these kind of pretty sophisticated dashboards using data from Ragic. So you can have a listing of your data, and you can have different kinds of listing, and you can have different charts. So in the demonstration, I'll just remove this small one and add another chart here. So I could say add a chart. I want to create, okay, let's create a Google map. Let's say we create a Google map here, and we'll use location. I can't use the location field. Oh well, I'll just try another type of chart. So let's say it's okay, let's do a simple scorecard, like a total. So by default, I think it shows how many records or how many statuses are there. So it just choose the field by default. So I could just choose question number. So it should appear the number of questions there are. And maybe I could just do a filter, create a filter I only want the number of unanswered questions. So I can say so status equals to unanswered. There we go. So we save. So there are 2 unanswered questions here. So this is the pretty easy way to create some reports like dashboard reports that your company can use to have a good overview of your data, or the important numbers. So this could be pretty useful, especially that you can view this kind of report. You can have a page whenever the user they can access this page to view the report, or this kind of URL can be embedded to any kind of other internal systems that your company might have, so that people can view this kind of report on a daily basis. Or you can even go to your Ragic homepage and when you go to your Ragic homepage, you can click here and add an iframe to embed this kind of Google Looker Studio reports if that's some kind of report widget that you would like to have, if that's something that cannot be done inside of Ragic. So anytime you have a report that is in the form of a web page URL, you will be able to embed this with an iframe into your Ragic homepage. So it's a very handy trick to know that any kind of reports you can just basically embed into your Ragic homepage. All right, so this is the quick demo of the Google Looker Studio integration. And if you have your Ragic account, you have a lot of data on your Ragic account. You can try out Google Looker Studio and try to create a dashboard report from your data. All right, and let's get back to the questions. First question. Stop calculation once another field is entered. I have a field that tracks how long an employee has been with the company based on their start date. It's useful because it updates automatically over time. I assume you're using a formula on the field, but when someone leaves the company, I want to stop the count at their departure date. I'm trying to figure out a way to stop calculating tenure once an end date is entered. Okay, so this could be done pretty easily with a conditional formula design. So let's take a look at the formulas. Okay, when you're doing formulas, you can create different conditions. So you can write the easiest way to think about this. You can write two formulas using the if function. If the departure date is empty, then the tenure would be now, the date now, today, minus the person who started working here. You can do date arithmetics to calculate how many days that the person has been with the company. And if the departure date is not empty, then if false, then we can calculate the departure date minus the employee start date, and this will get the tenure that will stop counting, because it's not referring to the date now. So the formula will look something like this. Do this with an conditional formula. If okay, I'm gonna write in like a pseudocode. So if the departure date is empty, then the tenure is now, or just today, minus start date. If the departure date is not empty, then the tenure is depart date minus start date. Okay. Yeah, and you can write this with one if condition, like let's say if depart date is like A1, and if A1 is empty, then today minus, let's say, B1. Okay. No, probably A2 at least, to make it more plausible. And or the other way around would be like to A3 minus A2. The actual formula would look something like this. All right. Conditional formula. Oops. Next question. Live link between Excel and Ragic. Okay, I like to check whether there's a way in Ragic that I can export my data into Excel, and any update I done in Ragic and refresh it into Excel without downloading the file again, like a live link. I know that you could do live link on Google Sheet. If you create Google Sheet, there's an import formula that you can use on Google Sheet, like Google Sheet import CSV. So let's import data. Because Ragic has all the sheets that you have on Ragic, they could be a CSV feed. So you will be able to import data to your Google Sheet using this. If you're using Google Sheet, you can use import data to import data from a Ragic sheet. Import CSV feed data from Ragic sheet. Okay, and to find your CSV feed, you just go to the publish to the web. The data feed. Okay. So okay, I'm not exactly sure about Excel. So let me get my Excel. I think for Excel you should be able to import from a CSV as well. So from database, Microsoft Query. Oh, it's ODBC, so it's different. So I guess you have to get data from a data source, from text. Oh, this is a text file. So manually, you will be able to download that CSV file and import it with text, but this is not a live link. So data source setting. Let's go to data source setting and see if there's any good choices for this. Okay, that's from the same thing. Yeah, I will need to do a little digging to see if there are like hidden features in Excel that can do this. And I'm also on Mac, so I think because I do have this memory that some kind of live link between the CSV feed on your data is available on the Windows version of Excel, but not on the Mac version of Excel. So I'm not completely sure about that. So I will update you later on and on the Microsoft Excel if it can contain a live link to your Ragic data. For Excel, I will need to double check on if this is possible and get back. Yeah, I'll do a quick check after the webinar. It will probably take a little bit of time, and I'll see if I can find a way to do this kind of live link of your data between on Ragic and your Excel file. Technically, of course, it's something that's definitely possible to do if this is supported. If the CSV feed or Excel feed on the web is supported on Microsoft Excel, then it's going to be totally doable. It's just a matter of if Excel already supports this. All right, and that's it for the questions for today. Thank you for joining in on the Ragic Office Hour session. If you have any other questions, please feel free to use the Office Hour question sheet, and I will be answering your questions in 2 weeks. All right, thank you and goodbye.